Hey, ever have an idea in your head and you're trying to design it? What's your process? Join me for this journey as I start my design process, all my needs I need for my last miter saw stand. Pay attention. I'm excited because this journey is going to be a heck of a lot of fun, but it's going to take time, so be patient with us. A lot of you have reached out recently and said, Sedge, I'm excited to see your miter saw stand. This is going to take a while because I mentioned this is the last one I'm going to build. You may have seen in videos previously, this is about a year ago, before I moved my saw station or my Capex station over here, and it was over on the other side. And a good friend of mine, Jason, was in here. He had a second set of eyes, and he said, why don't you do this? Move your beer fridge over there, okay? And take your Capex and move it over here. Because I was mentioning I wanted to build my sys wall for all my sustainers instead of having them all over the shop. So that was the best thing or the best advice I could have gotten. So sometimes it's good to have a close friend come in who's also a woodworker and understands the shop to get that second set of eyes. So be patient with us. I'll say it again on our journey for my ultimate miter saw station. So this first video is just about design or my considerations for the miter saw station. Now, you may say I'm overthinking things, but in the comments below, tell me if I'm not seeing the whole picture. Let me know if I forgot some of these considerations for the miter saw stand. When you're looking at what you want and also need in your miter saw station, you want to start making a list of all those possibilities. And I have gone through so many different miter saw stands over the years, and I wanted to make this one my ultimate one for me, but I also wanted my saw to be portable because I still have a big hardwood floor project on the second floor, and I need this dust extractor, this table, and these extensions upstairs. So I want to incorporate all of that. That was a big need I had. The other thing you may have seen in, of course, another previous video is we did a couple cabinets on this side and a couple cabinets on this side. And everybody was reaching out and saying, hey, when are you going to finish that miter saw station? And the funny thing is I'm not going to continue with those cabinets. So one of the things I did when I had those Sys AZ cabinets here, AZs being the pull-out drawer slides, is I had them at a shallower depth. And I had this space behind it, okay? And I said, I am not maximizing my space. That's what I want to do. That was one of those things I need to maximize my space back here, because that would have been a catch-all back here. Even though I would have put a countertop, dust could have gone behind there. So those Sys AZ cabinets, it's just easy. I made them modular. So follow me with this, Chris. I repurposed them. And I know it's a little cluttered over here because we're moving things around, but I took them and I have them right here, okay, right by my single bay door, and I'm still going to utilize them. So it's not throwing it away. It's kind of making sure I can utilize them because we put a lot of time in these. And the other consideration I wanted with this new one, it's going to be modular. So if I ever move the shop, I could take those and repurpose them. They may not even need to be part of a miter saw stand. I can use them, and I'm going to make some countertops for them that I can also repurpose. So that's some of the things in my head. Now, the other thing you always got to do is measure and take into consideration a few other things. Is, hey, what's the proper height? I don't want this head up above here. I want it at the right height. That's already given, but I want my cabinets to come in so I can fold this leg up and this sits, and these are level, and I have a way, possibly with shim stock, to level them. So what I did is I just started making a list of everything. Okay, after that, I do a really rough sketch. I write down some basic measurements. What exactly do I want in my cabinets underneath? Okay, of course, I'm gonna make a toe kick and I'm gonna put levelers on them, but that doesn't take up, that's 100 millimeters high. So then I started measuring from the floor to here to the deck of the Capex, any miter saw, and I wanted to make my cabinets the right height. So I did a few measurements, and I also just did it really rough over several sketches that I did. And then I went to my computer, and what I did is I didn't do a SketchUp drawing. I just started writing all the numbers down. So after I went to the computer, I typed up all my cut lists, my toe kick height, my cabinet height, and all my measurements. Then what I did is I did a rough eyeball of everything and say, what exactly do I want in my cabinets? Do I want shelves? No. I want drawers because, did I say that right? Drawers? Okay. Because I need more storage, because sometimes in drawers you have, throughout the SedgeTool shop, I have a little bit of clutter in there and I'm trying to declutter and get ultra organized. So I had to decide, with the inside height of those cabinets, how many drawers can I fit? I don't want to go on and on with this, but I feel like, I almost feel compelled I have to, because I have to get to the end point. How much? So I thought about this, and I thought about my width of drawer. Is it going to be the depth of drawer, exactly how I want it, but also how much of the slides, what kind of slides I'm going to use. So my next plan came out with 3 cabinets on each side, all right, at the right height, of course, but inside my depth of drawer, and I'm going to do 4-inch drawer boxes. How many drawers am I going to have in there? I'm going to have probably 4 in each. So what does that calculate to? That's 24 drawers. That's when I can look at my typed up notes and go, wow, am I going to get overwhelmed with this build? That's why I'm going to take my time, because there's a lot of things I could possibly teach you through this whole process. And what's going to be my finished look? Am I going to leave it open, or if I'm going to do drawer, how am I going to do my drawer fronts? So there's a lot of things that you have to think through before you start cutting that plywood. It's not overthinking. It's making sure you have it right in your head before you start cutting. So what I always do is I make a story stick. I just took this 1/2-inch material I had left over from baseboard. And you'll see I measured up that 100 millimeters for toe kick. The bottom of the cabinet's gonna be 18 millimeters, 3/4. This is my cabinet side. I have the top 18 millimeter. I wanted my inside measurement. I can use this while I'm cutting. And then I'm gonna do an 18 millimeter top for the whole thing. So if I take that and bring it over, it comes right even with this. Almost. I gave it a little fudge factor of 10 millimeters, and if I have to use shim stock to make sure these level, I will. Make yourself a story stick. For the video, this is pulled forward a little bit, but the Capex will sit close, very close to the wall. That's the beauty of it. But I also wanted to make another story stick for my countertop. Right? So if I take this, this is going to go up against the wall, and what I wanted to check is it's going to be a 600 millimeter depth of cabinet, but I'm also going to do a 40 millimeter overhang, and there's a reason for that. When I put the cabinet, it's 600 millimeters, but I'm also going to have a drawer front on that. That's another 18 millimeters. That's why the 40 millimeter overhang, plus the hardware I put on front. I want to give myself, with that extra 40 millimeter, plenty of room so the hardware is not sticking out. So the depth of the cabinet is 600 millimeters. This is not 600 millimeters. With a toe kick, you have to have that 4 inches underneath. So do the math, 4 inches equals 100 millimeters. So these are 500 millimeters. That way there I have 4 inches up and 4 inches out. That's how I've always built toe kicks. One of the other things you need to do when you start something like this is make sure you have that area completely clean. Here's my point. I had all this extra wood in here and it was a clutter spot. All right. And as I built my toe kick, I started moving all that wood away, and I realized something. Right here, I have this offset. It's 3/4. So to compensate for that, I'm going to put a piece of 3/4 in there, and I'll be all set. So my point of all this, whenever you start a project and you haven't thought it completely through, sometimes something like this drywall and the way they built this, it opens up a can of worms. This is an easy compensation, but make sure you have a clean space. So I'm going to use 100mm drawer box sides. And the reason is I want them shallow. That way there, I am not stacking things on top. And I'm going to put Kaizen foam in most of these. Holy moly, that's going to be a lot of Kaizen foam for 24 drawers. Not only the Kaizen foam, but that is a lot of domino drawers. That's 24. I keep repeating that because I'm trying to convince myself to do that. But then I think about this and I go, that's a ton of front end time, isn't it? So I keep convincing myself every time I say 24 drawers, but I think about this, a place for everything and everything in its place. Storage and organization in a shop is everything. It's very important because there may be a ton of front end time, and a lot of people have seen me organizing the shop and going, boy, that's too much time. But it's not. The front end time is consuming. The back end of it is I know where everything is in that wall behind us. I want that same feeling here on the Capex station. So, am I rationalizing in my head? Absolutely, but I think about this. This is the last time I'm going to do this. Those cabinets are going to live with me forever. So I better do it right. Am I thinking this completely through? In the comments below, as we wrap up this video, these are the considerations I have had. Am I forgetting something? Let me know in comments below. We are beginning our journey. The toe kicks have been made. I stopped mid-process so I could cover what I think takes the most front end time, is making sure my design is sound. So, as we always say in the SedgeTool shop, be positive, stay sharp, and we mean wicked sharp.